Come back at 6, wake me and your child, and then won't lay today. Make me wonder who you might have been playing with. Makes me wonder who you think.
Hey, welcome back. It is your girl Mystic and the challenge. And the challenge is pretty much over. It really is. You're getting these videos late. I did go outside this weekend, so they will be stacked, but I promise you, I'm still working daily about my intentional wellness. I want you to know how serious I am about that. I'm up. It is afternoon time. I was out till 6 in the morning. And I don't even know why I'm up. But we're about to go to the gym, get the day started, and come back and do everything we need to do. Let's go. The video is long today due to the journal prompt, so I ain't even gonna waste y'all time with too much of a long, workout. On top of this, the weekend, baby. I deserve me a nice little break. And that's what I'm doing. I did my 45 minutes on the Stairmaster again. I have increments where I'm going up, down, cool down, period, all that good jazz. If you are interested to know what I got going on, I would be more than happy to tell you. And I was going to do a little bit of leg workout, but I was pressed for time. Again, I had stuff to do this weekend. I'm sleep deprived. Y'all gonna get this workout. We've got to close the rings. We're going to do that. But we still going to give ourselves some grace. And we're going to enjoy our last day of this. Welcome back, cyber friends. We are almost at the end of the challenge. We have one more bit of hard work before I release you from trauma dumping and knowing random things about me and my life and things that I am growing through and healing from. But don't worry, as I continue to work on myself, I will keep it to myself. But I appreciate you if you did want to listen. So today, of course, shadow work. And the question that I am going to pick is, who hurt you the most and can you forgive them? That wasn't a hard one for me to pick at all. The person who has hurt me the most, unfortunately, was my mom. Both of my parents, my family in general. But that's where it started for me. And there is so much life, so much I would have to forgive this woman for. How I operate, how I move. Like how I said in a previous video, if I was a child that was afraid of everything, I was not one of those ruthless kids, one of those fearless kids. I was afraid of everything. My mom dealt with substance abuse issues in my lifetime. And that caused me to be in spaces and areas that were not suitable for a child in any way, shape, or form. From strangers to seeing substance abuses, to coming home to my mom passed out on the floor and I'm shaking her and I'm trying to wake her, and I'm traumatized that as a 7-year-old, I am seeing my mom possibly dead. I don't even know what that is, what it is, what it looks like. Listening to her talk to herself and have psychotic breaks, and the emotional abuse, the mental abuse, sometimes a little bit of the physical, the neglect, so much neglect. I remember when I was 5 and my mom taught me how to warm up TV dinners. And I guess she didn't want my dad to have me. I guess she didn't want a family member taking me or taking care of me while she decided to leave for days at a time. I guess she didn't want people to know that something was wrong or something was going on, but She taught me how to warm up TV dinners. And the moment she did that, she was absent. She was gone. Again, I'm young. I know not to open the door. I know not to turn on the oven or whatever the case may be. But I literally would sit in my room afraid all night. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, no one to talk to. She would call every once in a while. I had a house phone in my room, so she would call every once in a while to check on me and see if I was okay, and I would tell her that I was scared, but she didn't come back home. Her dealing with her substance issues also put me in harmful environments as well, because it got to a point where she was no longer a functioning addict. There was a while where she was functioning, where she still went to work, handled business, did all of the things that she needed to do. She provided for me monetarily. I got to play every sport that I wanted to, join every club, anything I wanted to try. She had the means for it. And then one day, it was like a flip switched. She no longer wanted to be functional. She no longer wanted to get up and go to work or contribute or help or whatever the case may be. So I have experienced being evicted several times in my childhood. I have experienced being homeless as a kid. I have experienced living in a house with no water. I have experienced living in a house with no electricity at times. So that does a lot to a child. And I guess you can imagine my feelings towards her growing up. And then into my adulthood, I had a very strong disdain for my mom. I hate to say it, but it got to the point of like, I hated everything about her. I hated her talking to me, how she talked to me. She looked at me for too long. If she spoke to me, I hated the way that she breathed. I had so much hatred in my body towards this woman, but I still loved her. And I know that I still loved her without saying the words to her, without having those type of conversations with her. It was that unconditional love where you don't really even have control over it. You were just destined to do it. You were designed to do it without even knowing why. Still wanting to make sure she's okay. Still wanting to make sure she's good. I would let her steal my money to buy things that she had no business buying. I remember I got my first job in high school. And I was saving up to buy my first car. And at the time, me and my mom, we had just got into the new home. We were staying at my great grandma's old home that was paid for, and my grandma had the lease to it. My great grandma wasn't living in the house anymore because she was too old to live by herself. So she had to move in with my grandma. So when my mom and I moved back from Texas, my grandma let us stay at the house. But my mom didn't want to keep up with the upkeep of the house, the bills of the house. The house got to a place where it should have been condemned. Floorboards falling in. It was really bad. And so my grandma no longer wanted us to be at the house because, number one, it was unsafe. Number two, it was doing more damage to credit and all of that, us staying at the house. And if my mama wasn't going to help contribute, because again, she stopped being functioning, she stopped going to work, she stopped doing all the things. So the responsibility fell on my grandma, and she couldn't keep up with the upkeep. So essentially, my grandma kicked us out the house. And so my mom found this random house that wasn't too far from the old house. And the man owned the house, and he had a little attic crawl space that he kind of turned into a mini living space. And so he started renting it out to my mom. It was a very small, cramped little area. Just, you think of an attic that somebody renovated or whatever to turn into a little kid's room. That's pretty much what it was. So my mom had a room. I didn't have a room. There was a closet space. I lived in a closet. I did not have a bed. My mom had a bed. I would have the old couch cushions from our old house, and I would turn it into a pallet, and I would make a bed. So here I am, I'm going to work, I'm saving up for my first car, because in my head, that's the number one thing that I need to escape this place. I've already told my mom in my upbringing growing up that I cannot wait till I get old enough to take care of myself, and I will never see you again, talk to you again, talk to my family again. So I had the plan. I just had to live long enough, not harm myself, not get into too much trouble. I just needed to save the money, figured some things out. So the first step of the plan was, you have to get a car so you can start being more self-sufficient, take yourself places, get that apartment, go to school, whatever it is that you're going to do, it starts with the car. So I was saving up. I didn't have a bank account at the time yet. So I would just go get my check cashed every other week. And so I would just take bits and pieces of my paycheck and start my own little savings account with myself. And I hid the money in the closet. And so I remember I almost had like $1,000 saved. And that's all I was just trying to save up to $1,000, because I was just gonna buy me a quick little cash car from one of the car auctions that they have where I live. And I remember I was so close to my goal. I was so excited. I come home from after cashing my check one day. I go into the closet, and every single cent is gone. I was distraught. Again, I've gone back and forth with my mama. I have called her names. I have cussed her out, same way she has done me. And I'm not saying that again like I'm proud of it, because I'm not. But that one right there was the trigger of like, I literally have no respect for this woman. I didn't comply with everything at that point in life, but I didn't necessarily say or do disrespectful things all the way to her. But that flipped a switch in me where I was like, I have literally no more respect for you. I immediately ran into her room, adrenaline pumping. Where is my money? She tried to play stupid with me, act like she don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what money you talking about. What are you talking about? I asked her again, where is my money that I had hidden in the closet? I don't even completely remember the whole argument or whatever, but it was just, every time she spoke, it infuriated me more. Oh, well, I needed the money for something. What did you need my money for? You can clearly get up and get a job and go do whatever you need to do and get the money. What did you use my money for? You not paying for the car. It literally got repoed because you haven't been paying for the car. The car before that, you wrecked it because you were too high driving. The car before that, you wrecked that one too because you were too high driving. So I'm having to walk to the bus stop and this, that, and the third and ask everybody under the sun, begging for a ride back and to from work. You don't cook. Then you get food stamps, and you only get food stamps because you use my pay stubs. Where is my money and what are you using my money for? I could not do it anymore. That is the day that I finally lost hope for her. That things would ever get better, that she would ever be okay again. That is when it hit me that she is too far gone. And I no longer want the weight of protecting her, of carrying her anymore. So I moved out. I called my granny enraged. I said, I cannot do this anymore. I cannot be here with her anymore. Please, can I live with you? She didn't question it. She didn't fight it. She didn't ask me too much of what happened. I packed all my clothes from the little closet that I lived in. I moved to my grandma's house. I did not ask, could I leave? No, nothing. Just left. And I made it a mission to stay as far away from her as I could. And that is how I carried my life. Anytime that I was in college and I came back home, I made it a mission to not be on her side of town. I made it a mission not to go home during the holidays. I did not want to see her, be around her. There'd be times that I would go home and I see her getting off the bus, looking dazed and confused. One time we did actually run into each other, and the first thing she did was ask me for money. I said, I don't have it for you. I'm sorry. That is how I attempted to carry my life as far as humanly possible and removed away from her. And I was successful at it up until 5 years ago when she had got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I remember my cousin. He lived in Houston at the time, and he was going home to hang out with the family. And he was like, I know you probably don't care, want to hear, but I am going to go to your mom's place and check on her, and I'll let you know how she's doing. I said, I don't care, whatever. Everyone in my family knows how I feel about my mom, and the only person who really pushes for me to have some type of relationship with her is usually my grandma. But outside of that, nobody really bothers me about it. They accept that I don't know that woman and I don't care to know her and I don't want to be around her. So they let me have that. And so I'm out at brunch And my cousin texts me. He's like, something is wrong with your mom. I'm about to call my mom, which is his mom is my aunt, my mom's older sister, and I'm about to call Granny, and we're about to take her to the hospital. He was like, she looks sick, and then he sent me a picture of her. My mom has always been a bigger, heavy-set woman. When I say she was down to her ribs, her hair was gone. I'm like, what in the world? What am I looking at? A couple hours later, he calls me. And he is crying his eyes out. I've never heard his grown self cry on the phone like that. And he's freaking me out. Because you're crying. I've never heard you cry since we were kids. And you can't get it out. Like, you're freaking me out. What is wrong with you? You're confusing me and you're scaring me. What is wrong with you? And finally he tells me. It's like she has cancer. And he was like, and she cannot be saved. She's too far gone. They are not giving her long to live at all. If you want to see her, you need to figure that out quickly before it's too late. So I had to quickly decide, do I want to get over my feelings of hating this woman that I've hated my whole entire life and let her die with some peace and somewhat get some peace for myself, or harbor that energy forever? And ultimately, I decided to not do that, especially 6 months prior, my dad passed away, and we did not, and we did not end on a good note. So that's what really propelled me to make that decision with her. And I'm happy that I did such a thing. My mom ended up living for like a month and a half or whatever the case may be, and every other weekend or every weekend or so, I was going into town and spending time with her in hospice and talking to her and get to know her, because I really did not know her. I did not know much about my mom outside of her name, her favorite color. She played basketball. She loved basketball, sports, music. I didn't know real deep things about her, so I would just come up with questions to take down there, and I was recording our little sessions and stuff together. I still have my recordings. I haven't gone back and listened or any of that since I recorded, but just when I was ready to heal and process and things of that nature, I was gonna go back and listen to them. But there were 2 moments that showed me that I was at peace with her in the situation, or at least it was going to put me on a path to be at peace with her in the situation. We did have a conversation, and she did end up apologizing to me for everything she did, even the stuff she cannot remember that she did, and that she did not mean to hurt me and all of the things. And she came at it in a sincere space. I mean, over the course of my life, she has apologized to me. I will not say that she hasn't, but none of them were sincere. I'd be like, remember when you did so and so to me? She'd be like, oh, I did that to you? Oh, my bad. Sorry. That's what her apologies look like. And so one of the things that put, I guess, some peace in my heart, some empathy towards her, not to make excuses for her, but she said to me, because in my head, in my understanding, she didn't want to be a mom. She never wanted to have kids. She told me that whole thing with my dad about I was a mistake child. I was a one night stand or whatever. And then they were forced to do their little shotgun wedding or whatever the case may be. Like, she never had plans for kids or whatever the case may be. And so she treated me as such. She did not want to be a mom. She did not act like a mom. She did not have that nurturing spirit that moms usually have. So in my head, my mom has always hated me, never wanted anything to do with me, and that's what it felt like. So she told me, it is not that I did not want to be your mom. It was that I did not know the type of mom that you needed me to be. And that really opened the door for me, put things in perspective for me a little bit about how she was feeling. And of course, as a kid, there's nothing I can do about that. I can't advocate for myself. But when I was older, high school, young adult, there was conversations I could have had. I knew that I needed a reliable mom. I knew that I needed this type of mom. It was it sucks that I spent so many years being so angry and distraught to where maybe we could have had those conversations and I could have told her, and if she did them, she did them. If she didn't, she didn't. But I wasted a good portion of my life being upset, being angry. So that moment there, and there was another moment in the hospital that showed me that I'm becoming at peace. And then she passed away. So can I ever forgive her? I knew that another one of the decisions that made me start going to the hospital and things of that nature, because I knew that I don't know how to forgive. I've never had to deal with forgiveness and things of that nature, and it definitely wasn't something that was taught to me. But I just knew if I could not forgive her, I would never be able to forgive anyone for anything in life. And that's a skill that I know that I need. So I know that it starts with her. So I'm at peace with a lot of the things. Then some things are still wrong, as I just had that breakdown. But it's I have no choice but to learn how to forgive, or forgive her one day. Because at this point, again, where I said at the beginning of this series when I talked about my family, literally my feelings towards how I've been treated with my family, by my family, they're only affecting me. It is only holding me back. These people are living their life. They are not worried about it in any way, shape, or form. They do not lose sleep over this. They do not think about this. They have not attempted to apologize for this. They are just fine. So now with my mom, it quite literally only affects me because she is not here to feel any of this. It's literally just me. So can I forgive her? I would hope so eventually. I feel each year a little more the wall coming down towards her and being able to start remembering some more of the decent times, the decent memories. Because she wasn't all bad. I remember there was one time she did attempt to, like, I guess, be my mom and get to know me. We had moved to Texas, and she had bought this notebook. And she said, I want us to start writing to each other. Our thoughts, our feelings about our day. And so she had this notebook, a little composite notebook, and she would, I guess, come up with a question and also write a little diary entry about how she's feeling for me to come home and read. And then I would respond to it, and it went on for a little bit. We didn't do it the whole year that we lived in Texas, but we did it for a brief moment. And that's one of the times where I can remember she actually wanted to try for a second. So little memories like that, where it's just like, oh, I guess she did have the capability to show up or show love. There's different moments that the more that I let stuff go and the more I heal from my upbringing on that, to where I can start seeing more of the positive stuff. So I hope to one day completely forgive her. That's a work in progress. That's 26, 27 years of life that I have to forgive somebody for. And I just turned 31. So it's going to take some time, but I'm willing to get to that spot. I don't want to keep holding over me in my heart anymore. But anyways, I'm done and I'm setting you free, and I appreciate you for coming. And tomorrow is our last day, and we're going to end on a lighter, positive note. But that's it for the night. Good night.